Thank you everyone for joining. My name's Xavier. I'm the head of sales here at Fusion Markets. Today marks a very special day as it's our first Fusion Markets live webinar. In today's session, we'll be taking you through all things cTrader. We'll be talking about the benefits of cTrader over MetaTrader, and I'll run you through the basics of the platform and highlight some significant features that cTrader has. So hopefully this will further inform your trading and add a layer of confidence for what you're trying to achieve. For those of you who have joined today, we'll be providing a special present towards the end of this webinar, which should allow you to take full advantage of cTrader and its perks. So we'll make sure to send a follow-up email to those of you that stay, and that way you can take full advantage of this one. All right, so let's crack into it. So cTrader explained. Okay, so the agenda for today will be what sets cTrader apart from MT4 and MT5. You know, as everyone knows, MT4 and MT5 are kind of the staple trading platform, but cTrader has really come in and made some waves and makes it much easier for users to trade. We'll be talking about some additional chart types that cTrader offers and different time frames that cTrader offers, which is very unique. We'll talk about some special order features that cTrader has available. We'll go through depth of market, which is a really important factor in your trading. And we'll run through some cTrader specifications and back-end type setups as well, that will be very nifty to your trading arsenal. So why cTrader? Obviously, cTrader is one of the most popular platforms, barring MT4 and MT5. It offers a lot of advanced features, a great intuitive interface, and the ability to customize your interface to suit your trading needs and style. You do have the option for one-click trading, advanced market depth, as I mentioned, advanced charting, C algos, which are your automated trading systems, indicators and timeframes, and a much more uncluttered interface. So just going on to the MT4 versus cTrader differences, or MetaTrader differences versus cTrader. Obviously, cTrader is a newer release, so it was started in 2011. You can trade it on Windows, Mac, iOS, your phone, Android, so it's available on all your normal operating systems. It offers much more time frames, so as opposed to having 9 time frames, you've got 26 that are available to you. You also have different chart types, built-in indicators. The community is a little smaller, but it's a much more tight-knit community. So you can jump onto the cTrader forums, you can have a discussion with those dev teams, and they're really reactive to the type of feedback that traders are providing. And that's something that MT4 hasn't done quite well, or MetaTrader hasn't done quite well. So the community is much tighter, and you can do a lot more in speaking with those devs. There is a smaller list of robots also that you have access to, but if you are a coder, you can take full advantage in coding C+ or C hash, and it makes it very, very simple. You do have one-click trading, and as I mentioned, depth of market. So I'm going to start by taking you through the chart types, and I'll open up cTrader in just a moment so everyone can have a look at those, but we will go through bar charts, candlesticks, line charts, dots, Heikin-Ashi, HLC charts, Renko, and rain charts. So I'll open up that cTrader now, just a moment. Fantastic. And I've just got to note that the chat is disabled, but if you do have any questions, you can send them through. Just feel free to send through any questions, and I'll do my best to answer those, as we go. I do want this to be very conversational. So, any questions that do come through, you can do so. And I'm also just going to run a very quick poll before I start, just to get an idea of if we've got new traders here, if we've got intermediate or experienced traders, or you might even be the George Soros that's joining us today. So I welcome you all to join the poll quickly and just submit some questions just for us to get an idea of where you're at and your experience. Thank you for everyone for filling in those answers. Perfect. All right. Now getting into this setup, once you have downloaded cTrader, this is what it's going to look like. So you've got your cTrader platform here. This is what it looks like by default. So you'll have your information on the left, which is your trading information. You've got watch lists that you can create. You've got your different symbols. You've really got everything here that you need to start trading. As I mentioned, I'm going to take you through the charts just to begin, the different types of charts. So we'll start with just our traditional bar charts. And the way that you can access these is just by going to the top, and I'm just going to neaten up a few things here, just removing this, and I'm just going to click this just so I can have a clean look at my chart and make it very, very simple for us to look at. So we'll start off by looking at our bar charts. Obviously our bar charts are very standard type charts, very similar to your candlestick charts. You've got your open, close, and you've got your bearish candles here denominated in red, and you've got your bullish candles here in green. So a very, very simple one. I think most traders are across this. You've also got your candlestick charts which you can pick up here. Again, these are, quite normal charts to be seeing on MT4, so I don't think I need to run through these in too much detail. Obviously, your green charts again depict a bullish move, and you've got your red candles that depict a bearish movement. Moving into our line charts, you can see here, our line charts are really great. They load up super quickly. You can zoom out and you can get a full picture of what you're wanting to look at. And here you've got a very good understanding of what's happening from a trend perspective, where a market's going to be trending, what's happening. You can change your timeframes very easily, and you can just go having a very quick look here. Awesome. So moving on from this, we've got our dot charts. Now, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. You've got your dot charts, which is a little bit different to what you would typically see on MT4 and MT5. The dot chart is essentially a display of closing prices for the selected time frame that you're looking at. So in this instance, I'm looking at the daily time frame, and these can help you depict different sets of data. And the dot charts is something that is a well-known and well-used method for the Federal Reserve. So they actually use these dot charts quite a lot, and they'll look at things like, the Fed's funds rates on a dot chart like this, and it's used on the FOMC meeting committees that you often hear about coming into a Fed interest rate decision. Moving on to our Heikin-Ashi charts. So I'm just going to show you those quickly. A little bit different to how we get this chart up. So you can see you've got your 6 charts here. If you just go to your right here, then you've got a couple of other nifty little interface area where you can pick different types of charts or different ways of displaying the chart. So in this instance, you can pick a Heikin-Ashi chart. So if I click this 10-minute time frame and I go back to a bar chart, you can see that I'm getting a slightly different chart here. And this is your Heikin-Ashi chart. So this is just an average bar, and it's an offshoot to, the traditional candlestick charts that you might normally see. So these are really great for traders that are wanting to take out a little bit of the noise in the market and just have a look at, the candles and trends in your market that you're choosing to trade. So a nice little nifty one there to add in. Moving on to the high-low close chart. So I'll just load that one up. Okay. So we'll go back to a 5-minute time frame here, or maybe a 10. Yeah, that looks a little bit nicer. So you've got your high-low charts. These charts just represent very simply the high, the low, and the close. So the high-low charts are either displayed in red or green, and a really great chart just to get some nice clean data there as well. So depending on what you're wanting to use, you can really take advantage here. You've also got your Renko charts. So the Renko charts are one of my favorite charts to have a look at. So I'm going to go to something like a 20 pip here. Your Renko charts are fantastic for traders that are wanting to get a really clear depiction of the trend. So if we have a look here, we're looking at the pound USD. You can see that a lot of the noise has now been taken out of this market. You've got some really clear trends lines. So let's just say, for example, you're wanting to look at support and resistance. You can really easily come in here and have a look at those ebbs and flows in the market. You can see where those tops are. You can clearly define those levels, and it really takes out those noise. So if you are a trader that is wanting to trade between different ranges, this is a really great chart to take advantage of, and one that a lot of our traders that are using cTrader typically use when they're trading trends. So a really great one to use there. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go back to our slideshow presentation quickly. Just a moment. Fantastic. So I've gone through everything here. We've got our bar charts, as I mentioned. These are your traditional charts, your candlesticks. Again, nothing new here. Line charts, your dot charts. These are fantastic for depicting those trends. Get a really good idea of where price is at and where it's been landing on that close. You've got the high-low close charts. Fantastic. Your Renkos. You've got your range charts as well. Now we're going to go through some order types. Now, order types are fantastic at cTrader, and this is where I think things get really interesting. I might just add for any new participants that have joined us, welcome. And if you do stay towards the end of the webinar, we do have a little bit of a special present for anyone that's just joined us. So make sure you stick around for that. And thanks again for joining us. Now moving into order types. So yeah, as I said, this is where things get really interesting, and cTrader provides some significant advantages here. So you've got 4 types of order types. You've got your market orders, you've got your limit orders, stop orders, and stop limit orders. So I'm going to run you through each one, how you actually place a trade, where you monitor some trades, and I've got some special features in here that I want to show you all that make for some really advantageous trading conditions when you're using cTrader. Right. So I'm just going to go back to cTrader. Fantastic. All right, so let's just open this up as you would see by default. Just going to move a few things around. So we've got our trade watch on the side. So this essentially shows you the symbol that you're wanting to trade. You can also open up this window here to see, any orders that are running, open up any new charts, etc. By clicking on one of these on the left, it will actually open it up in this window. So let's just keep the pound USD open for the purposes of this example. I'm actually just going to remove this here. So let's just say we're looking at this market. We can see that, might have hit a bottom here at 1245, and we're wanting to place a buy in this market. You can either right click, create a new order, and this will bring up this new order window, and you can place your trades as you would normally, or you can close this and you can actually place a trade directly from this symbol window on your right. If you don't like this and you want a cleaner interface, as I mentioned, you can just come in here and you can move away that active trader panel. But I'm going to keep it here because we're going to move into something else that we need on this right side. So for the purposes of this, let's just create a new order. So a really simple order here. Let's just say we want to place a buy on the pound USD. We can just tuck in a mini lot here, 0.10. That's your quantity. You can put your stop loss and your take profit. When we're putting in the quantity though, there is some really excellent information that you can get here. And you don't get this in MT4 by default or MT5 by default, but what we get is our pip value. So as soon as you're placing your volume, let's just say I adjust this, we can see what our pip value is based on our account denominated currency. So in this instance, I'm using a USD account. So I'm placing 1 lot on the pound USD, which is a pip value of $10. We can also see the notional trade value here. So we can see that the underlying value of this trade is 125,000 units of currency. We can see our required margin just below this. We can see our required margin just below this, and we can see that the commission that is required to place this trade. You can also see some really neat information like the margin that you have available, so you know how much space you've got to put on extra trades, and you can see the amount that you've risked, the balance as a percentage, and your equity risk as a percentage. And those figures are based on the stop loss and the take profit that you'll see below. Now, again, this is an excellent feature that you don't have on MT4 or MT5 by default. Let's just say you've got, for the purposes of this, we've got, an $1,000 account and we want to be risking $10. We can really easily just come in here, place our trade and say, I only want to risk $10 on this trade. And we also might want to come in and say, all right, I want to be gaining $100 on this trade. So you've got a really simple way of adjusting your trades to get a positive risk and reward if this is your trading style. If you don't like putting in the figures directly, you can also just come in here and really easily adjust your take profit and stop loss. And these figures on this panel will actually start to update for you. So I might just move this down so you can see the stop loss feature again. And you can really easily just drag, drop, set, and forget. makes it very, very simple for you to come in and manage your risk. And this is the type of these are the type of systems that we generally want as traders. We don't want to be thinking about these things too much. We just want a system that comes in and easily does this for us. So I'm just going to readjust that. Let's get it as a positive risk to reward. Let's place this trade and hopefully things go well. So we know that we're placing a buy here. We're going to place this order. Well, I think I need a bit of a top up on balance here. So we might just change the trade size. We'll go to 0.10 and we'll place that order. When your order's gone through, you'll see this little thank you note. You can press OK, closes that down. Now you can have a look at the bottom of my screen here and you'll see now my order's been placed. So this is your positions window essentially. You can see any orders that you've placed. You can manage those positions from here directly. Now I'm going to run you through a different type of order. So we'll go to create an order here as well. And we've got our limit orders and our stop limit orders. Now, these limit orders and stop limit orders are orders that need to be placed above or below the market, depending on what you're wanting to do. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to take us through the stop limit order. Now, the stop limit order means if I'm placing a buy, that I need to place the buy stop above the current market price. So in this instance, for example, let's just say we're looking at, the pound USD, and I foresee that once price breaks through this level of 125.319, that the price is going to keep shooting forward. So what I will do here is I will enter in my price. So we'll go 125.319. We'll set the quantity at 0.1 lot. We can set an expiry if we want. So, perhaps we think this is going to happen within, 3 days or 4 days, or maybe within a couple of minutes. You can actually set a different expiry. So if it doesn't execute that order within this time frame, the trade will actually be deleted and it will close out. You won't have to worry about that trade being there in your orders window. You can also add in your stop losses and take profits, as I mentioned. So really easy, really customizable here. But for this instance, we're just going to place a buy stop. So you can see that that's gone through. If for whatever reason you've gone in and you've actually placed in the wrong type of order, so let's just say I was trying to place a buy stop again, but I'm actually going to be doing it at a lower price. You can see here, if I go to 1.24777, when I try to place this order, the system won't let me place the order because it's not the right price for this right order type. So you'll only be able to place the correct price and order types given the current market conditions. So we'll close that one off. Okay. So we've got my order now running. My two positions now running, and we've got our order here in the orders window. So this bottom panel is where you're going to be looking at your trades. You're going to be analyzing your positions. You'll be able to see a full list of your orders, and you'll really be able to get some great insights as to what you have ready to trade, or what's already in the market. So I'm going to create a new order as well, and this is where things start to get a little more interesting. So now you've got a stop limit order. So typically these types of orders, you're not able to place on MT4. And the stop limit order essentially allows you to place an order and limit the volume weighted average pricing or slippage that you could potentially get on an order. So let's just say you're someone who likes trading around news events, and you're trading a Fed interest rate decision, and there's going to be a little bit of volatility. Perhaps there's not going to be as much liquidity as there might usually be, and you might be subject to a bit of slippage here. You want to come in here and place a limit on the amount of pips that deviates away from your price. So I'll run you through this one in a little bit more detail. Let's just say we're going to place a buy stop limit order at this level. So 125.327. I'm going to add in my price here. So that accepts this order. We're going to put a quantity of 0.10. And let's just say we don't want this price to deviate out of this range as 1 pip. So essentially what will happen here, when that order is about to execute, if the price gets to, or the price that you're going to get executed at is 125.33, then that's acceptable. But if it goes to 1.2534, it's now out of the limit of that entry that you've set. So it'll either fill the order or it will kill the order completely. So you know that you're getting much more precision around your pricing there. So these are really great for traders that are wanting to get, you know, far more precision around their trades and make sure that they're getting executed at the price that they want without any deviations here. Excellent. So that's just a very general run through of some of these order types, but there are a couple of other really great things that you can take advantage of here as well. Now, this is something that we haven't added into the slides, but I think it's really great for us to go through this, just talking about modifying positions and setting advanced protections, an awesome feature that you have here as well. Just modifying trades, really simple stuff. If you're wanting to close out a portion of your trade, you can simply come in here and say, I want to close out 0.05 lots of my 0.1 lots, and you can start to crystallize some profits if you choose to do so. And this is a really great feature. It's not as clunky as the close by function with MetaTrader. Very clean, very easy. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to close out half of my trade. You can see that this has now been filled. And if I go back to my position here, I've now got slightly less of an order here. So that's all done. Sorry, yes, that was that pound US, the Euro USD trade. I'll just do that again here just for you to have another look. So let's modify this position and let's close out 0.02. We're closing out 0.02 and we're left with 0.03 of that 0.05 lots. So we'll close that out. And we can see here that's properly reflected in the quantity of this trade. Now, let's just say you're someone that wants to add an extra layer of risk around your trades. Extra layer of risk controls around your trades. You can actually start to add some advanced features to the way that you're trading. So if you right click on this trade, for example, and look at advanced protection, just this button here. So it's just a right click, set advanced protection. You've got some really great features here. So you've got advanced take profit features, and this enables you to take profit at a certain amount of pips and close out a specific quantity of your trade. So let's just say once this trade reaches, 10 pip profit, I want to close out 0.01. And let's just say, once this trade really runs, goes to 50 pips, I want to close out a further 0.01. You can layer these into your trades to make sure that you're crystallizing profits as you're in a profit and you're taking some of your trade off of your position count, essentially. If I try to add in more here, you can see that we're starting to see this red symbol. Reason being is because our trade size is only 0.02, so I can't take anything more than the 0.02 lots on this trade. You can also have move stop loss to break even. So if you have a trade being placed and you want to move that trade to a break even, essentially what will happen is, let's just say your trade's running at a profit and you want this to move to break even when the price comes within 10 pips of your entry. You would come in here, you would add in your 10 pips and say, once this trade is within 10 pips of when I originally entered, I'm going to add in my break even. And that means that stop loss will adjust, and it means that you can't lose any more than a break even level, essentially. Now, I will caveat that and say that, around fast moving markets, you do need to be a little bit more careful just due to liquidity, but around normal market conditions, this is a fantastic feature to have. So I'll just apply that here. That's been done. Wonderful. So I'll move on here from the placing a trade. We'll just go back to our slides. Okay. So we've gone through some advanced features there. One thing that I didn't mention was weekend orders. One of the great things about cTrader is you can actually place orders over the weekend. So if you foresee some market events coming about and, you want to have a trade potentially being placed when that market opens, you can place weekend orders, which is fantastic. It's a really great feature for those of you who are looking at markets, or perhaps there's a big news event that comes out over the weekend. You can come in here and try to take full advantage of that. You're keeping your powder dry. You've got things set. You can set it, forget, and you can enjoy your weekend at the beach or whatever it may be without having to think about your trading. So really fantastic feature there. You've also got your partial take profits, which I mentioned, and your trailing stops, which I'd gone through there. and you've got managing pending orders. You can see from this window, this is how you manage it. You can cancel all your orders, etc. So I've gone through those features there. Now we're going to run through depth of market. So this is a really, really interesting one, and one that I'm very excited to kind of run you all through. So there's 3 types of depth of market here. There's your standard depth of market, price depth of market, VWAP depth of market. And VWAP depth of market stands for volume weighted average pricing depth of market. So we'll go back to our panel, cTrader panel, and I'll run you through those. Great. So the depth of market window can be found on your right. And this is the reason that we kept this open here, because it gives you a really good idea of what's happening. So essentially, just to cover off depth of market is the different layers that your broker is providing you that enable you to get as close to your top of book pricing as you can see. So I'm going to just remove a couple of these things here just so we get a very clear picture of how this looks. Let's just say we're looking at the pound USD. We can see that the current market price is 1.2050. So that's changing. It's a bit indicative. And that price links up with what we're seeing here. And this is the top of book pricing. This is the price that you see on your chart. And this is what you would expect your trade to execute at. But I'm sure some of you may have placed a trade, some of the experienced traders that we have here, where you're placing a trade of maybe 5 or 10 lots. You see this price here, and maybe you get executed at a slightly different price. And this is where depth of market comes into it. What happens here is that there are different tranches. There's different layers of pricing that you see here. So you've got 1 lot at 12049. You've got 2.5 lots at a much similar price. You've got 5 lots at a different price. You've got 10 at a further price, and you've got 25 lots at 125037. And that means if you're placing, let's just say a 3-lot trade, you'll be taking 2 of these tranches. You'll be taking this top level here and this top level here, and you'll be getting a volume weighted average pricing. And that's why you can have some deviations in your pricing. Fusion Markets does have excellent liquidity. We work with a variety of very strong liquidity providers, and then we've got our operations team who work closely with them to make sure that our liquidity is strong and that when you're placing orders that you're getting precision pricing. But this just gives you some insight into how that works, and it helps you inform your trading just that little bit more. So that's your standard depth of market here. You can obviously see the ask side, the offer, and the ask side of the buy side and the sell side of your trades. This is depicted in these 2 different windows here. Then you've got price depth of market. So this one's a little bit different. It's a really great view for precision type trading. It allows you to enter a trade. It can either be a buy stop or a sell stop or different type of limit orders. And you can manage your positions directly from the price depth of market window. So you can see that the volumes that are allocated to you here and the corresponding price on the left. So let's just say I wanted to place a 1-lot trade. Well, if I wanted to do something a bit smaller, I could do 0.10 for 25 lots. At 25 lots here for this price of 125053. I can come in here, I can place this buy stop, that buy stop will place, and I can go to my order window and I can see that there. So submit it at that price. So it's just giving you that extra level of insight to know that when you're placing that trade, there is liquidity there. That order should get executed. But as you can see again, this depth of market is moving with these prices because the prices are changing. But your liquidity stays constant, and it's constantly updating. So when you're placing an order, that liquidity is getting filled back up. It's like a bucket. When some water gets removed, it gets re-added in, and you've got a constant flow of strong liquidity there. So that's your price depth of market. And then you've got your volume weighted average pricing depth of market. So a little bit different here. And this takes out a bit of the, calculation that you might use on standard depth of market, and it aggregates those different layers into one price for you. So let's just say you want to come in, you might have your big boy pants on and say, you know what, I'm placing a 10-lot sell trade here on the pound USD. What's going to be my price that I get executed at? As opposed to going in here and doing your calculations and getting the actual averages, you can just come in here, simply place your sell trade, and you know what price you're going to get executed at. So again, we're better informing traders, and cTrader has created this to better inform traders when they're placing those bigger size orders to get more precision around their prices. So that's volume weighted average pricing there. Now I might just stop quickly and just run through a couple of questions because I can see that a few have come across. So let's have a look here. Excellent. So we've got, how can you use depth of market for your trade setup? So I'll answer this one live. So look, you can use the depth of market in your trading setup, again, to just get more precision around your pricing. So let's just say you've got a system that is very sensitive to different prices. You might want to come in here and say, look, for whatever it may be, I'm only executing this trade at 125037. What you're doing is getting better precision around your pricing to make sure that, if you're a scalper, you know what you're getting in at, you know where your risk is set, you know where your reward's set, and you're just getting a much cleaner and better pricing around your trades. Just another question here, and thank you for the questions. Please keep them coming through. I'll do my best to answer everyone's questions, and if not, we'll get back to you via email, but I do want to spend some time to just run through a couple of questions just quickly. Does cTrader have a web trader? Yes, cTrader does have a web trader. Some of the great benefits about the cTrader web trader is that the actual system is very similar to what you see on your desktop. There are almost no differences. So unlike MetaTrader, where you're coming in and the system's, very limited, you can't run EAs, you can't have, so many indicators. The cTrader web trader is super clean, super functional, and you've almost got exactly what you would have on your desktop on the web trader. So a really great system to have there. Another question here. Do we need to fund the cTrader account separately, or can you use your MT4 balance? It's a really great question, Vivek. So you can actually just transfer your balance. So let's just say you've got an MT4 account, but you want to give cTrader a bit of a whirl. You can go into your Fusion Markets Hub, go to your deposit feature. Up the top, there's a little transfer window, and you can just transfer your funds over to cTrader. Or if you want, to create a separate deposit, you can do that too. But you can really easily transfer between MT4 and cTrader. It's a system that our dev team has worked very hard to do in our backend. It's an instant transfer, so you're good to go there. Ryan, yes, you can have multiple orders at the same time. You do have to place those individually, but you can have multiple orders at the same time. And yes, David, there will be a copy of the webinar. As I said, we want everyone to stick around because we do have something very special towards the end to provide everyone. So we'll make sure that you can stick around if possible. Great. All right. I think that's all the questions that I'll answer for now, just due to the time that we have. There's just one more here from Ryan. Yes, Ryan, everything that's available on MT4 will be available on cTrader. The only thing that it's missing here is US equities, and that's something that our team is working hard to provide. And that may come in the future. But for now, you can see you've got your commodities, energy, Forex, indices, crypto, exotics, and soft commodities. So almost everything there. Excellent. And Vivek, yes, we can place orders over the weekend, as I mentioned. So yeah, really neat one there to have. Okay, guys, I'm sorry I couldn't answer everyone's questions. There's a lot coming through at the moment, but I'm going to have to crack on and keep going. But as I said, any other questions that don't go answered, we'll make sure that one of our trading specialists gets in contact with you, provides you with those answers, and has a good conversation with you in regards to those. All right. Excellent. So moving back to our PowerPoint, just have a quick sip of tea. Excellent. So we've gone through our standard depth of market, got our price depth of market here, which I've explained, volume weighted average pricing, which is excellent as well. Now we're going to talk about trading conditions. So different stop out levels and how you can customize that. We'll talk about smart stop outs. We'll talk about a stop out example. I'm not going to go through this one in super great detail. So, we will provide these slides to anyone who cares to view them another time, but I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to show you a bit of a shortcut version for that. So stick around for the smart stop out example and how you can easily calculate that. So let's just start here at the smart stop out. Okay, so we'll go back to cTrader. We've got our smart stop out. Let's neaten up our windows a little bit, make it super easy for everyone to see. All right. So you can see here that I've got a panel down the bottom. This panel isn't unique to cTrader, but there is a little bit more information here that you wouldn't typically get with MetaTrader. I'll run through these. You've got your balance, and this just shows you how your balance is created. It's obviously your deposits minus any withdrawals. You've got your equity in here, shows you how this is calculated as well. Margin used. So this is the margin that you're placing down to open up your orders. You've got your free margin. This is what's free for you to continue placing trades. So I know that I've got $928 here and I can continue placing trades. We've got our margin level, and this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting. Margin level is something that you constantly want to be, monitoring. Essentially, your margin level is used to determine if you're going to get stopped out or not. So as your equity grows, if we look at the calculation here, we've got our margin level. Is equity divided by margin used. So it's our equity level divided by our margin used. So as your equity is increasing, your margin level is increasing too. And this is great when you've got trades that are going in your direction. You want that margin level to keep growing. It means that you're, essentially you're in the black, you're looking good, and your trades aren't going to be closed out, anytime soon. Hopefully there's no big news events. So you want your margin level to help maintain a healthy percentage. But let's just say the inverse happens and your margin level starts to decrease. Essentially what happens is it means that your trades are going against you. Your equity is moving down as compared to your margin used. And this is where the stop out features come in. So you've got a smart stop out that will stop your trade out at 20%. Now, this is a feature that Fusion Markets has put into place to add some extra layers of risk around your account. The last thing that we want is traders to, be opening up huge orders and around news events and, going into a negative balance. So this smart stop out feature is there to protect you. It's not a guarantee by any means, but it's there as a protection. So my smart stop out level is 20%. Now, for our Australian traders that are joining us, you might see a different stop out level depending on where you're from and where you're licensed. You might be ASIC or somewhere else. Your margin stop out level will change slightly. So if you see a different number on your screen whilst you're watching this or after, that's the reason behind that. Now, you've got your smart stop out feature here. And you might say to yourself, hey, Xavier, I want to know when I'm getting much closer to that 20% level than, what I think. And again, this speaks to the customizability of cTrader. You can come into your settings here. So you can see on the left, I can click my settings and it will open up this really neat panel for my account properties. In these properties, you can do things like email alerts. You've got, a general setup to change your theme, sounds, interface scale, chart types. You can do some cool things around assets. I know some people who are trading, FX like to see units as opposed to lots. That's showing your notional values as opposed to lot sizes. Or even if you're trading around commodities, you might want to know, how many units of gold am I trading for this trade? So you can do some cool stuff there. Your market watch, and I'm just going to skip through the rest of these here, just for the purposes of this. But yeah, do urge you to take a look through this. So let's go back to our email properties. So you can see here that I can, have some really great features around take profits. If I want an email every time my take profits hit, which I would love to know, you want to know when you're getting paid, that's where you use this take profit feature. You're going to be sent an email notification to say, hey, Xavier, this is, this trade's good. It's been executed at X price. This is my take profit. You can do the same for your stop losses, the same for your pending orders that are filled. So if you've got an order that perhaps you set, at 9 p.m. before bed, before your cup of tea, you wake up in the morning, for whatever reason, you've got access to your emails and maybe you're on the go. You can see what orders have been filled just by checking your emails. You got a smart stop out email here. And this is where you can start to set customized margin call levels. So you can see here that I've ticked 80, 100. I'm just going to tick 150 for the purposes of this example. I come in here and I say, hey, Xavier, I want to know when my margin level gets to 500%. I've got, let's just say I've got, 1,000% of margin, but I want to know when it gets to 500%. I want to know if my trade's going to be, coming down, my equity's being lowered for any reason. So I'm going to set this at 500%. I'm going to set a further level at 100% and a further level at 80%. So you can do some neat little tricks here around getting margin call notifications sent to you, so you're always aware about what's happening on your account, and you just apply those levels and it simply applies to the account. You can also do some cool things around deposits, withdrawals, price alerts, and email statements. I would love to go through all of those with you, but we just don't have the time today. But we will be doing a further webinar in the future to go through some even more advanced features. So we'll just close that for now. Okay. So I'm just going to go back to our PowerPoint. So we've gone through our stop outs, gone through our smart stop outs, and our stop out examples. As I said, we're not going to go through this one in great detail, but we will send you a follow-up email if you are interested in learning on how this works and how it's calculated. We'll be sure to send this through to you. All right, so we'll move on to indicators now. So indicators, how to customize your charts, all things that your technical analysis traders love to do. This is where you come in, and this is where you see some really great some power in cTrader. So we'll go through that. Let's just say, for example, we come in here, we've got our positions open. Let's just say I'm trading one of my favorite pairs, which is the Euro USD. So I'm going to open up a new chart here, and I'm just to clean things up a little bit, I'm just going to close out our trade. Nice little $1.12 profit there. And we're going to zoom out a little bit. So we're going to go to our daily time frame. You can see an interesting little pattern here. Okay, so you've got your standard features here. You've got your crosshair. So your crosshair here is really great for just determining, where your price at. All right, cool. We've got a bottom here at 0.953, and we want to know what that difference in price was from the bottom to this top candle here. We can see the price. You can see how many periods. So it took 88 days for that to form. We can see how many pips difference, and we can see the percentage change from bottom to top here. So a 15% change. So if you had caught that move, perhaps you really liked this bottom here and you thought that, Euro USD was going to be up, you come in here, you can measure that off and, estimate it at one lot, you got a 15,000 USD profit there, which is fantastic. And you can come in and do the same. All right, great. If I took that, bottom here, this top here to this bottom here, what are we looking at here? So gross P&L, you can see the percentage change. It's showing in a negative here because your price is going from a more positive price to a negative price. There's a decrease in price there. So you can see those changes. You can also come in here and you've got some great little sort of art that you can do for whatever reason. I know that we do have some traders that are joining us who like to draw on their charts, and maybe they're showing a friend and they want to be able to write on their charts. You can come in here and quickly circle and say, yeah, that was a nice little bottom here. And, this is our top. And we've got, another one here. We're just marking out where our highs and lows are here. You can also come in here and add, your lines. You can customize these features. You can change the colors here. We might want to do a nice little red note there. To depict this. So you can come in here and add some really cool features that you can draw. There's a lot more that you can do here. You can do your Fibonacci retracements, your fans, different time zones. As I mentioned, I'm not going to go through all of these here. I just want to stick to indicators as well, but this just gives you a run through of this panel on your right. Now, moving on to our indicators, there's a couple of different ways you can bring indicators up. So you can right click on your chart and you can go to indicators here. And you can just type in your indicators. So let's just say, for example, I like my simple moving averages. I've just typed in simple here, and you can see at the top, it's the first one that comes up, very responsive. And we can say, cool, I want this to be, my 14 days, or maybe you want it to be different. I want this to show in purple, change my color a little bit there. And let's just say I want the thickness to be a little bit thicker there. There you go. So you can see you're really easily able to add that simple moving average in. And you can see that I can hide this very, very simply. or I can completely delete this from here. If I want to change the properties and say, you know what, I actually want to look at, 20 periods as opposed to 14, I can really simply come in here and change those periods as well. So offering much more customizability and much more easier. Let's just say that I want to add in a different type of indicator. I can also go up the top here and just type in, let's go with our MACD. So our MACD crossover, we want to add that in here. Nice and simple. You see this at the bottom. So we can add in our MACD. You can also do some really neat tips and tricks here. So if I want to come in and let's just say this is my standard chart. This is always how I trade. I come in here, go to my templates, save this template, and let's just say we'll call this MACD and SA, simple moving average. I save that template, that gets saved. Now I come over and open up the USD CAD. I've opened up that chart. I might not want to come in here and just put those templates on again. All I do is right click on the back of my chart here, hit templates, find the one that I've just saved, loaded it up, and you can see that it's zoomed out. It's exactly the same as my previous chart. I've got my MACD here, I've got my simple moving average. So it just makes it super easy for you to load up templates, different templates on different charts. And you might be trading, a couple of different strategies, and that way you can save multiple templates for, your commodities, your crypto, your Forex. Really gives you that customizability there. So that's the basics of your indicators here. As I mentioned, if you really want to just delete those and clean it up, you can really simply do so. Makes it very, very simple. Now I'm coming towards the end of the webinar here, and I do want to leave a couple of at least 10 minutes to answer some more questions. So I'm just going to very quickly run through some of the last slides. Okay. And we've got our cBots. So your cBots are just your automated trading systems. For those of you that are trading, automated systems, you can use cBots here. So I'll just run you through how you actually bring this up on your side. For any coders, I'm sure this will be very, very interesting. I wish I was handy with my coding, but unfortunately I'm not. I have to rely on the ops department for that to helping me out with that type of stuff. So I'll bring this one up. You can just see, I've clicked my panel here, just the 3 lines at the top, go to automate, and it will bring up this new window. This new window will bring this up in the same panel that you're in. You can see that there are some default default bots on your left, and there are also some indicators on the right side by clicking this panel. So you can come in here, you can have a look at the code, you can understand what's happening here, you can edit these, or you can create your own codes. You can also find more indicators just by clicking on this link. I won't do so for the purposes of this. You click this open, and this will take you to your cTrader community, to that spotware community that I was talking about earlier, where you can talk about different systems, or perhaps someone's created something that you're wanting to use. You could come in here, you can have a conversation with someone in that community, and maybe even have a very quick look over what they have available. So I highly recommend for you to jump in here, check out those cTrader indicators and bots. You might see something that you like. In this example, you can see that we've got an advanced take profit feature that you can really simply just add to your system by clicking the plus sign, and that will add to your system. All right. So that's your cBots there. So I'll just take it back to the trader panel, and we'll go. I've got a number of questions coming through, so I want to get some time there. So that's all. That's wrapping up for today. Once again, I really, really appreciate everyone for joining. Definitely send through your recommendations. If there's webinars that you're wanting to see more of, if there's things that we've missed that you want us to speak about in a bit more detail, send that feedback through. We'll be having our trading specialist contact each and every one of you to just get a bit of feedback. But I'll just run over the key takeaways here. So cTrader is crafted to emulate your institutional trading atmosphere with a complete depth of market look. It's a very clean, very easy to use system. You've got your advanced risk management systems and order functionality, which is fantastic for new and experienced traders that are coming through. Got a list of timeframes, a good amount of indicators there. You've got some advanced charting tools to analyze your market trends. And you've got the option to customize cTrader with your cBots and indicators. So again, thank you all very much for joining. It was my absolute pleasure to chat with you. And I hope that you've taken something away from this one. I'll now move to a bit of questions, but I don't want to forget, actually, we will be removing commissions for anyone that is new to cTrader for a small amount of time. So get in contact with your trading specialists around that. We want to give you the opportunity to really try cTrader at no cost and make sure that it's the right platform for you. So we'll be giving this out to a limited number of traders, for a limited amount of time. So get in contact with your trading specialists. They'll have more information. And thank you again. It's been my absolute pleasure. We'll go to questions now. Okay, cool. Yes, we can definitely pop this one on YouTube. The marketing team will be working on the back end to get this one uploaded straight away. So this one will be on YouTube. Excellent. Yes, we will be sending out the slides after this webinar. So if you're wanting to look through the slides, and you can do so. How can I change my background picture? Great question. I can show you how to do that. Very, very simple. If you're wanting to change your background, let's just say, for example, you're not a big fan of the Fusion Markets logo, you can change it to whatever you want. So you just want to jump in here. You can just go to your right click, background image. You can upload a image if you want, or you can just put in a URL or just choose a file. So really simple for you to upload an image there and change your background if you want to do so. Is the transaction history consolidated between MT5 and cTrader? No, the transaction history is different. So even if you're trading MT4, MT5, or cTrader, each trading statement that you get will be specific to that platform. So, and that account, I might add. So if you've got an MT4 account and you have one account, you'll receive a trading statement for that account. For cTrader, if you've got, a cTrader statement, you'll get the cTrader statement for that specific account. And you can have multiple accounts with cTrader, but the statements won't come consolidated. They'll come separately. And you receive 3 of those if you have 3 accounts, for examples. Mark, thanks for your question. Are the spreads the same between cTrader and MT5? Yes, the spreads are the same. There are some slight differences in the commission, the way that it's the commission is calculated with cTrader. It can be beneficial. Sometimes it can be a little bit more, and we can send out a few more details on that one. Yes, we do have Fusion Market swap-free accounts. Please get in contact with your trading specialists on that one. And they're provided on a case-by-case basis. So please get in contact with your trading specialist in regards to that. Can you use a demo with cTrader? Excellent question, Maruf. Yes, you can use a demo with cTrader. Actually, we urge all of our clients to open up a demo account, open up a live account, and give it a go. The demo account is fantastic for you to, just get a feel for how the platform works. You can do some testing, place some orders, and as you develop that confidence, if you want to set up your own live account, no minimum deposits to get started. You can get started with whatever you feel comfortable to do. So really great question there, Maruf. Excellent. I think that's most of the questions there. Okay, we've got a couple of more that are coming through. Mark, really good question. Can you customize the time zone with cTrader? Yes, you can. So you can see on my screen here, I've got the current time. So if I click this time here, I can actually start to customize my time. You'll see everything in the UTC format, but you can customize your time. So you might be UTC plus 10. You can change the time here, and that will reflect in the timing that you see at the bottom of your screen, and also the current time of your platform there. So a very neat little one there. Okay. Excellent. Sue, thank you for your question. There are no minimums to get started. You can get started with whatever you feel most comfortable with. Be sure to get in contact with our trading specialists, and they can, run you through getting started on that. Saif, great question, Saif. So No, you can't change your smart stop out to 20%. From a regulatory standpoint, these levels are set based on your license, so these stay at those levels. But as I mentioned, you can customize the notification that you do get. Yeah, you can have a chat with your trading specialist in regards to that one to show you how you can get notifications on that there. Perfect. All right, I've just going to give it another couple of minutes. If there's any more questions, please send them through. But once again, team, yeah, thank you all very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to leave it there for today. If there are any further questions, as I mentioned, get in contact with us. We'd be happy to have a chat. It's been an absolute pleasure. Look forward to working with you all in the future on future webinars and having another chat in the near future. Thank you very much for joining us. Take care. Happy trading.